Hello everybody, tonight for dinner, it is Sunday night. It's been kind of a lazy night at home. We are having the garlic brown sugar baked chicken. It is a fabulous, easy, delicious dinner that is so easy to make. Basically, you mince up your garlic, you saute it in a little bit of oil on the stove, you add in your brown sugar into that little skillet, and then you pour it over the chicken breast that you have in a casserole and put it in the oven. Now, I'm not going to be talking a lot tonight. I might do some voiceovers. Please understand, we have a movie going, and so I'm trying to cook and listen to the movie. Scott had to take the trash out for me, but if I'm doing, a little bit of a voiceover, that's why, because sometimes it's hard to share our daily meals and talk to you guys whenever there's a lot of other stuff going on in the house. So I'm going to get busy. I'm going to mince up this garlic, and I'm going to get it on the stove, kind of sauteing, softening up a little bit, and then I'll add in some brown sugar. So I was on the phone, so I hope you don't mind the voiceover. Some olive oil and my garlic. I was just softening it up, and then I added in some brown sugar. Super easy. I already had the recipe posted. I also cut up some red potatoes. Easy to roast. You don't have to peel them. I also cut up some red onion. That will kind of help flavor those potatoes up just a little bit. And then I got my chicken breast ready. I used some of the Mrs. Dash table blends in the savory, and I just sprinkled that over my chicken breast and then proceeded to pour over the brown sugar, olive oil, and garlic. So delicious. This is such an easy meal. The oven does all of the work, and since it was a cold fall day, it's perfect. Then I got my potatoes and red onions on a cookie sheet. I simply used the Mrs. Dash table blends in the roasted garlic this time. Such a nice seasoning with salt and pepper. And then I just kind of mixed up those seasonings. I wanted all of the potatoes and onions coated, with those so they have a lot of flavor. And my cookie sheet looks really old, but it's because I've used it so much. Then I added a little bit more oil and really mixed the potatoes up very, very well. You just want to get all of the oil, all of the seasonings coated all on the potatoes. And if you have any little onion pieces, you might want to go ahead and try to get those separated and then lay them flat as on the cookie sheet as possible. Then, since I was cooking both, I put the potatoes on the bottom burner or the bottom rack and the chicken on the top. That way they could both cook together with no problems. Here is dinner served up. We have the chicken, and I actually cut up Jackson's chicken for him, but you have the chicken and the potatoes and the green beans. That is what the garlic chicken should look like when you're done. It is such a delicious, easy meal to make. I have the recipe listed out on my blog, and I will put that link in or below if you don't see it in a card, and you guys can make it anytime you wish. It's a wonderful dinner. Hello everybody, tonight for dinner we are having chili, and I went ahead and cut up a red bell pepper and one softball sized onion, and on my stove I have started the ground round, and I've got a big stock pot here, and I'm going to go ahead and add in the peppers and the onion. I like just to simply mix them right in, and they will cook with the ground beef and flavor it, and they will also soften up. You don't want any hard bell peppers or onions in your chili, so I am simply just cooking it all together. Then I will drain it, and I will start adding the rest of the chili components. So now that it's cooked for a few minutes, I took it off the burner because it was so smoky. I'm adding in some garlic. I wanted it to cook for a few minutes before I added a bunch in. So back on the burner it goes. You'll see how steamy it gets really fast. See? But I just kind of let the garlic kind of get tender on top for the last few minutes, and then I will start adding in the tomatoes, some ketchup, some spices. We'll get it right. Okay, so now I'm adding in a bunch of tomatoes. These are really good tomatoes too. And in they go. Now it's time to get spices and a little bit of water, and we're gonna be in business. Oh, and the beans. Forgot the beans. I've added 2 cans of chili beans, and I've added some spices, I've added some salt, and I have some elbow macaroni cooking up right here in this pot, and I will transfer it over into here. That is a big pot of chili. I hope to have leftovers. Scott can take some into work, I can eat some for lunch, and we can totally freeze it too. So that is our dinner, and I have been really good at, cleaning up, and I still got a few things to clean up, but I'm doing really good tonight. Yay! The pasta is in, and I'm just going to let it simmer for a little bit and then serve it up with some peanut butter sandwiches. Okay, so here is our chili dinner. I'm taking some of these little crackers and putting them on top, and that is our dinner tonight. Super simple, delicious, easy. Chili doesn't take a long time to cook, but it does taste better after it's been in the fridge a couple days. Serving it up with peanut butter sandwiches. We're using the all-natural Jip, and that's what we're having for dinner tonight. Hello, everybody. So for dinner tonight, Scott is actually working late. He's got some things to handle, so he won't even be home for dinner, I don't think. And I decided for Jackson and I would thaw out some of these ham steaks. I would have some shredded hash browns, and we have a lot in our freezer, and I just dug those out. And we're going to have it with some eggs. And that is going to be our simple dinner tonight, breakfast dinner. And, we don't get to eat breakfast like this a lot of mornings. So I decide every once in a while, once a week, once every 2 weeks, I make a breakfast meal. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to get these on first because they will take the longest. And I'll have dinner done in actually just a couple minutes. So the hash browns are on, and then I went ahead in this skillet and just kind of browned up 3 ham slices. I think that's going to be more than enough for Jackson and me. And I'm going to take them out and put them on a plate and just kind of put them in the microwave to stay warm. I'm going to kind of wipe out my skillet with a paper towel, just kind of like dry wipe it out. And that's the same skillet I'm going to make our eggs in. The eggs are cooking up, and the hash browns are almost done. So here's dinner with the hash browns and the ham and eggs. Jackson just sat down. I'm going to go eat with him. But this is just a simple dinner, you guys, for us. He likes breakfast. I like breakfast. You could totally put onions and cheese and all that in the hash browns. I just didn't do it. I just went for an easy dinner, and this is it. So this is our dinner tonight. So here is our dinner, everybody. Tonight I made baked tacos. These are super easy and delicious. I didn't share myself cooking because actually tonight I was on the phone and I just didn't. But I've shared this recipe. It's on my blog if you're interested. And I also made some refried beans, put some cheese up on top. And I'm busy making our plates. So that is our dinner tonight. It's very filling, easy to make. The boys love it, and that's what we're having. Hello, everybody. Tonight is Thursday, and we are having leftovers. So Jackson just fixed his plate of tacos. I'm having chili. Scott is still at work. It's 7:30 right now, and he will probably have chili as well. I'm having water with lemons. I talked a little bit about this in my last day in the life vlog. This is my 4th one today. I know it's not a lot. This holds 3 cups. I measured the cups, and I also measured the chili. I got 1 cup of that, and 22 of these is 1 serving, and I'm not, going to use 22 of those. But that's dinner. Hello, everybody. So right now it's still pretty early, and I'm going to make beef stew. I took a big roast. I cut it up. I'm going to stick it in the stock pot, and I'm going to put it in the oven with some water, not that much, but a little bit. And I'm going to start cooking it low and slow. And I'll add some seasonings like some garlic powder and onion powder. I will add an onion in just a little while, but I want to give the meat a jump start. And always use a plastic cutting board for your meat, you guys. You could use a wood one. I've seen a lot of chefs use wood ones except for chicken, but I prefer plastic, and I think it's better germ-wise. And see, I even got some on my counter right there, and it happens without even noticing. But I was going to make this in the crock pot, and it is a great crock pot recipe just for a beef stew, obviously. But it's pretty chilly here today, and by the time Scott gets home from work, it might be, you know, a little more chilly. So I thought this would be good in the oven. It's going to cook at a relatively low temperature, about 300, and it's going to cook for a while. Once the meat has tenderized up a little bit from, you know, the cooking process, I will add some brown gravy. I like brown gravy because it is simple, it is easy, it doesn't take a bunch of effort, and I also add carrots, and I add peas, and all kinds of goodies. So first things first, this needs to get in the oven. You can see how much water I put in, and I just put in a bunch of the table blends in the roasted garlic. Okay, you guys, so up to this point, there's a few things I should tell you. About halfway through the cooking process in the oven, I added a small bag of the baby carrots. You can totally use canned, but I prefer fresh when possible. And I let those go first, and I left them in for probably about 20 minutes. And then I added in the potatoes, and I didn't have any little red ones. So these are just like Idaho ones that I've peeled. And I've let that cook for a long time. And then just a couple minutes ago, I added 2 packets of ground gravy. Now, you can totally make your own brown gravy. Oh, and I also added a can of crushed tomatoes. But the brown gravy just thickens it up for you, and it just makes it so much richer and more delicious. And now we're coming up to the end of the cooking process. I went ahead and added my frozen peas and some garlic. I did not want the garlic, I did not want the garlic burned or anything, so that's going back in. And I also added an onion. I'm sorry, but I do have a recipe up, and I'll try to link that for you guys. But now I'm going to make some biscuits and get them in the oven in just a few minutes, and everything is close to being done. So here is dinner tonight. You can see the delicious beef stew. I'm not going to go too close. I'm just zooming in because of the steam. You've got the beef back there, and that's just a beef chuck roast that I cut up on my own. And you've got the tomatoes, the onion, the garlic, the carrots, the peas. It is just delicious. And I just made some biscuits to go with it, and they were like store-bought biscuits, completely fine. And I'm serving it up with milk. So that is our dinner tonight, and it might be our dinner tomorrow night too. It is very fall-like here. It's very cold, and this is the perfect comforting dinner tonight. So sorry about the shadows. It's gotten dark on us, and this is our dinner. Hello everybody. So tonight I've got stuff on TV about the Pope. You don't want voiceovers. You might have to hear a little bit of that. And the dishwasher that we unfortunately forgot to run. So what I'm making tonight is just some very, very simple breaded chicken breast. I'm putting them in the oven. I'm just using some Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. And I know, you guys are maybe following along on Instagram where I am, trying to get a little more healthy. Well, I've had hardly 0 carbs today whatsoever. So I don't think a few breadcrumbs is going to hurt me. I'm also making some Velveeta shells and cheese for the boys and a vegetable. So I just mixed up a couple eggs right here with some milk. I'm going to dip the chicken breast in and then put them right in here and then put them in here. So that's what I'm going to get busy doing. I need to get dinner done. It's getting late. Okay, so I breaded them and I washed my hands really well. I'm just going to get these into the oven. And they're going to cook away, and I'm going to clean up this mess and get the shells and cheese going on and get a vegetable out. Okay, so here's our very basic dinner tonight. We have the breaded chicken breast, we have some green beans, and some mac and cheese. I am having just a little bit. There's not even a half a cup here because I'm kind of hungry, but and I probably will only eat about half of that chicken, but this is very quick. It's just like shake and bake. I totally could have thrown the chicken and the breadcrumbs together, and it would have been fine. But that is our dinner tonight. Very simple. Nothing to brag about, but it'll work. Okay, so, you saw the chicken dinner just a little bit ago, and it just didn't do anything for me. I don't usually like even eat that much dinner, you guys. I don't have ever a big appetite. I'm usually showing you one of the boys' plates. But this is more my kind of dinner, and this is what I fixed for myself. So, I got some soft-boiled eggs, protein, some strawberries, and a cheese stick. And, you know, I have been working really hard at giving up sodas and Mountain Dew in particular. I'm on day 2 right now, you guys, and I've been posting about it on Instagram. It's driving me crazy. I just want to stay where I want it to stay. You guys have been following along and being so supportive. Well, a lot of our dinners are going to be pretty simple dinners here, you know, coming up, but I'm going to be sharing them with you still. I might share some different waters that maybe you can make. I'm not sure. But this is my dinner, and, you know, maybe it would have been enough for the boys. The boys definitely would have wanted some type of, like, real meat protein. I'm not sure if I can get away with just serving this to them. But, you know, honest to God, I make them what they want, and sometimes I just have to make myself something a little bit healthier, a little bit more me, and maybe not as heavy. And I don't have to particularly eat a lot of those starches. That macaroni did nothing for me. That chicken I took one bite of, and I really, you know, I could probably give up meat pretty easy, but I love a good steak, so I'm not going to. But that chicken just didn't do anything for me. And you know, the green beans were okay, but you know, I just had a couple of little bites as I was cooking. But this is dinner, and I'm going to get eating. Thank you guys so much for watching this What's Cooking vlog. I really hope you enjoyed seeing some of the meals we had this week. I will be switching them up a little bit, and I hope you enjoy that. If you did enjoy this cooking vlog, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to get subscribed, and I will see you tomorrow with a day in the life vlog. Thanks again for watching. You can totally follow me on Instagram, where I post daily pictures. I love getting to know you in the comments, and I love seeing your pictures, and it's such a fun way to interact. You can find me under K Jaggers. That link is below. You can also check out our fan page on Facebook. I share our daily blog post here, and there's an Insta feed button where you can check out our Instagram pictures here. You can also enter giveaways from here. You can leave me messages. You can chat with me through the comments. I love it. But better yet, you can always go to my blog at kjaggers.com. There's a ton of blog posts, some from way, way back, all the way to current. You can follow along in lots of different ways. There's tons of links, tons of information here. It's my home away from home. I love my blog, and I've had it for a very long time. I love that you guys interact with me through the comments, so be sure to say hi. Let me know what you thought of the video, and don't forget to follow along. All the links are below. Thanks again for watching.